side while he held his friend, calling for aid until his voice failed. But the past, with its dark, clawed memories, would have to wait. "My coachman has broken his leg." The woman slid off the horse's back. She touched her forehead, and her fingers came away wet and red. With a grimace, she wiped them on her skirts. One eye had swollen shut, and a cut near her hairline seemed the probable source of most of the blood. "He was unconscious when I left. My maid is with him." "Where's the accident, miss?" a man from the inn asked, taking the long leather traces she'd used as reins. Men spilled out of the taproom to lend their aid while grooms readied mounts and gathered carts to form a rescue party. "By my best guess, they are perhaps 3 miles away, directly down this road. You can't miss them." She pointed back in the direction from which she'd ridden. Waving over a fellow, whom he'd seen eating with the locals at the morning meal, Ethan said, "We'll need a surgeon. Sir, do you know where to find him?" "Yes, Milford, I'll fetch him." The man donned his hat and scurried down the road toward the village. The woman swayed on her feet, appearing less warrior-like by the minute and more like a maiden about to faint from blood loss. Before Ethan could say anything, Calvin arrived and offered his arm to escort her inside. Just as well. Ethan might want to help, but Cal's particular skill set would be more useful to a damsel in distress. She went with his friend willingly enough, no doubt won over by his charm. Charm wasn't Ethan's strongest trait. Better to stay in the stable yard until everyone had a job and was on their way. A gentleman with hair that glowed like a halo grasped Lottie's elbow, speaking in the same tone she would use with a frightened horse. "Perhaps you should sit. Your head wound is still bleeding. Frankly, you need help as much as your coachman." Her escort offered Lottie a seat in the public room, which she took, moving with precision to avoid further irritating the bruises making themselves known. After crawling out of the wreckage, she'd not thought beyond flinging herself atop a carriage horse, then praying she'd stay seated long enough to find a doctor. The shaking in Lottie's legs began, and she feared the rest of her body would follow suit until twitchy, useless nerves overtook her. Lacing her fingers together steadied her somewhat, while she waited for her vision to clear. Dear Lord, one of her eyes wasn't working correctly. No wonder her face hurt. She tried to focus on the man who'd helped her. His striking features and perfect attire seemed more suited to a London drawing-room than a Warwickshire country inn. "What brings a pretty fellow like you to a town like this?" A disconnect between her ears and mouth made the words come out slow and slurred. Mercy, her head hurt. Following his gaze to a sparkling window overlooking the yard, she spied the behemoth of a man they'd left behind deploying volunteers and taking control of the situation with an air of command no one questioned. Ah, he must be here with the man using his impressive presence to get things done. The man's confidence amidst an emergency didn't hurt his aura of competence. Fresh blood seeped past her lashes. Wincing, she turned from the scene and wiped an already filthy hand over her eyes. The innkeeper's wife arrived with water and a stack of cloths. "I'm Mrs. Pringle, dearie. Let's look at your head and see what we're about, shall we?" Lottie waved a hand. "It's nothing serious at any rate. I'm sure I'll be fine with a bath and rest. My coachman needs a doctor far more than I do." Clean tables and the scent of fresh bread made the inn warm and cosy. Hopefully the room upstairs would be as welcoming. She desperately wanted to get her bearings, then find a tub and a bed. A bath would be heaven. The elegant stranger pushed. "Please, miss, let her clear away the blood." Chilly air danced over her cheek as the commanding man from the courtyard entered the room. With a blunt, "Give me the rag," he once again took charge, swiping the cloth from Mrs. Pringle's hand. Her charming escort rolled his eyes. "Fine, Mac, take over. I'll see if I'm needed outside." The giant grunted an acknowledgement. Really, were actual words too much to ask? A few moments before he'd been kind, but now surly impatience.